with the Switch strolling towards its uneventful end, I think it's time to really think about why it is this way. And the causes of death are many. I think, the dated tech. It was weaker than both the base PS4 and Xbox One on release. It never really got Grand Theft Auto. The games are very expensive. I think Breath of the Wild is like $40, and that is almost 7 years old. No, maybe who's to say? Um, and there's also the paid online and the fact that the online isn't very good, and the games that are online aren't very good. So why would you turn on your Switch? So for the Switch 2, the obvious move is to update what's already there. Your ARMS, your Mario Kart, your Smash Brothers, not your Splatoon. Splatoon can wait. I think you do a spin-off, maybe Pokemon too. Who am I kidding? They're gonna force Pokemon onto the. Um, well, but let's speaking of Pokemon, what about another game that they could do? Pokken. If you're like everyone else on the planet and you haven't touched the game for years, I'll give a quick refresher. Pokken is a 2.5D fighting game that stars Pokemon and switches between arena style and classic 2D style combat. It takes place in the Firm region, where the trainers use Bluetooth to soul resonate with their partner Pokemon in intense one-on-one battles. There is no story, the music is ass, and there is nothing to do but play dress up and fight. Uh, Pokken 2 could be many things. In one world, it's the exact same thing with more Pokemon, and, well, it dies after the DLC finishes. In another, it becomes a tag fighter and dies within a month. In yet another, it remains an idea tormenting autistics everywhere with thoughts of what could have been, much like the main series. Fighting games are a lot like Paleolithic pregnancies. The specter of death looms over them heavily. So, how do we avoid a swift demise for our cockfighting sim? Well, content. Often we forget that for many, fighting games are single player. If you aren't talking to your opponent, then they aren't real. This is why most fighters have either small communities or are played by dead-eyed number worshippers. Usually a player falls in and out of these categories depending on how many friends they have that play the game. Anyways, content. What are we talking? Well, new fighters, for one, obviously. Personally, my wish list: Inteleon, Quaquaval, Koraidon, and the monkeys. Inteleon is a clean glass cannon, mid-range, making use of your tail, with an invisibility move like Reptile, Mortal Kombat. Quaquaval, has an obvious carnival inspiration, or wait, carnival inspiration. So, a dancing, what the fuck is Kyopera or whatever the fuck, making use of, all sorts of flips and the fucking giant tail. That's what I'd go with personally. And what should be done. I mean, if you put in the stupid fucking cat over, no, I'm not gonna get mad. I'm not gonna get mad at the magician with absolutely nothing hinting that it's a magician on the fucking design. Whatever. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I have no enemies. I want Koraidon to, be a big unga bunga man, just a lot of slaps and stomps and roars, and he has like a big jumping punch that combos into the fucking slam move. Like, oh, I just, yeah. The monkeys can do cartoon bullshit and will switch out for specials like piss and shithra. Pokemon's music is so good that it makes up for how abysmally dogshit the rest of the experience is. The biggest examples, of course, being Gen 4 and 8. But Pokken, well, let's just say you can hear the absence of the usual, crew. I think. I don't really remember how anything sounds. I hope that, we get just the mainline music, with remixes being unlocks. While we're on the subject of sound, I really want to say how important it is for every fighter to sound different. I don't know why I'm doing that, but Mortal Kombat is great at this. You can have Kenshi and Ashura both, wielding swords, but they sound different. Of course, most Pokemon don't have swords, but that doesn't mean I'm not expecting to hear, a bunch of snarls and screeches and clicks and, all sorts of noises. Unrelated, but these are my favorite and least favorite Godzilla movies. I don't know what this says about me, haha. Pokken's story has two paths. You tell a human tale about taking on the League or some stupid evil team, or you go the Mystery Dungeon route and make the Pokemon full characters. Admittedly, I know nothing about Mystery Dungeon other than that the Pokemon speak, so I can really only think about a human one. I find the idea of psychically linking with any animal really interesting. So interesting, in fact, that I am fucking lying to you. You don't psychically link to the Pokemon through Bluetooth. It's just I battle AR. But I feel that it's best to explore that because, I mean, what the fuck else are you supposed to do with this setting? We could take a note from Persona 3 and have the heroes be test subjects of the Bluetooth. Maybe, they escaped and they want to expose, the human fucking, experiments and, the animal cruelty. And you could do like a big, statement on, why corporations are evil and, eat the rich. Which would be rich coming from fucking Pokemon, but yeah, whatever. Either way, I'm thinking we have to set this before the first game because, well, there's really fucking nothing you can do with the setting because, like, there is no conflict in the world of fucking Pokken tournament. So I think that what we could do just for a story to have something to unique about it is that you can have like these really the beta Bluetooth headset things. They could be like these big bulky sci-fi things, and they are unreliable. They're testing it, and maybe like through some sci-fi bullshit that they fuse with the Pokemon. You could have some dirty fucking mix of like a, I don't know, fur alligator and just like a little boy. And you'd have to fight that. And I think that'd be pretty cool. Cooler than fucking Shadow Mewtwo. What were they thinking? But there's also just the idea of having a break and the users go insane. And then the Pokemon goes berserk and then you have to fight them to calm them down. Which I think would be really easy just for like a simple story. But what about the why? Why would this exist? And I fucking got this. The Bluetooth was made by some guy who was jealous of an actual psychic. Or you could just make it, really Team Plasma-esque and say that it was made by someone who just wants to control Pokemon. What if it's someone who is like really emotionally stunted, so they just want to force the Pokemon to work with them instead of just like a natural bond between the trainer and their Pokemon. But I think that either way we're gonna really lean into like the animal slavery aesthetic, and we're gonna make the hero, you the player, use the power of love to end animal cruelty, and yeah, maybe you talk no jutsu the main villain into just getting over whatever the fuck traumatized him so he can become normal, and then he finds a little Pikachu and they do like a big How to Train Your Dragon scene where he touches the Pikachu's head and the game ends. You did it. But for a classic League plot, I say we just do a tournament arc, just the bare minimum. The first Pokken game is really weird in that, like, it was, I guess, technically like some sort of tournament arc, and like the bosses had unique character designs. But That's it. They just had unique character designs. There was literally nothing else. Like I think you just fight Shadow Mewtwo at the end because reasons, and that's it. I just think it'd be really fun to have mini games, just to break the pace. Customization, for both the trainer and Pokemon would be awesome. In like the first game, the only like I guess black hairstyles they have are, like I think like a racer head or and like some braids. And I think more of that would be cool. Uh, just and also just little accessories and outfits for the Pokemon, like in the stupid fucking Unite, would be great. Um, Really, the more options, the better. Like sound options. Like I don't even know if the fucking Pokken has that, but all I know is that you have to go to like a separate menu to pick your partner Pokemon before you can like go into the do the single player or any of that, instead of just having a fighter select screen because they just can't be normal. I think that the inevitable exclusivity of Pokken 2 and all the other titles like Splatoon and ARMS, they're online focused things, means that they will be fighting to maintain relevance over things like Fortnite and I don't know, fucking Overwatch, because those are on everything. And I just hope that the devs and us fans don't get screwed again. I beg we don't get another Splatoon 3. Honestly, I beg we don't get another Scarlet and Violet, because those are like, I can't express enough how fucking bad they are. You pieces of shit, you absolute bootlickers, are seriously trying to convince me that a game where the fucking battle system takes 20 years to do anything is good. It is not. That is the one thing you need to get right, and you didn't do it. There is nothing about that game that works. You have these stupid fucking anime characters running around with these fucking HD 4K textured clothing on. For what? You already had like a really good visual style in Sword and Shield, and you just threw it away, presumably because you couldn't figure out how to get it to work in the new engine. But God, just, mainline is dead. All right, all a Pokemon fan can hope for now is fan games and spin-offs. That's it. Maybe if the anime if you're like a fucking toddler.